Imagine this, a knight, one of the richest men in France, a celebrated war hero, a companion to Joan of Arc. Now picture him descending into a nightmare of evil so terrifying that it would haunt history forever. This is the story of Baron Gilles de Rais, a man who went from fighting on the side of saints to becoming one of the darkest figures of medieval Europe. His story is not just about power, wealth, and betrayal. It's a chilling descent into madness. Today, we'll uncover the twisted life of Gilles de Rais, a man who once stood alongside Joan of Arc, but whose name would eventually be associated with unimaginable horror. From his military triumphs to his terrifying crimes, this is the story of the Black Knight of France. Gilles de Rais was born in 1405 into a life of privilege and wealth. His family was one of the richest in Brittany, and young Gilles showed early signs of greatness. By his teens, he was already a knight, a title that would come to define him for the rest of his life. But what set Gilles apart from other noble youths was his military prowess. At just 16 years old, Gilles was already leading men into battle. But his path to fame truly began in 1429, when the tides of war were changing in France. Joan of Arc, a peasant girl claiming divine visions, was rallying the French forces against the English. The French were losing the 100 Years' War, and Joan's arrival brought hope. Gilles de Rais, an experienced knight, was captivated by her spirit and, like many others, pledged his allegiance to her cause. Together they achieved a historic victory at the Siege of Orleans. Gilles de Rais fought bravely beside Joan, earning recognition as one of the marshals of France. He became a national hero, celebrated for his valor and loyalty. But in the aftermath of their victories, something went terribly wrong. Joan of Arc was captured by the English, tried for heresy and burned at the stake. Gilles de Rais, disillusioned and heartbroken, retreated from the battlefield. His military career was over, but his story was far from finished. After Joan's death in 1431, Gilles returned to his lands, where his life began to take a dark turn. The once celebrated knight, known for his courage, now became a figure of excess and extravagance. Gilles poured money into lavish feasts, theatrical performances, and bizarre indulgences. His once pristine reputation began to crumble as his wealth slowly drained away. But what was more concerning than his spending habits were the rumors that began to swirl around him. Villages near his castles began to report the disappearance of children. At first, these were dismissed as rumors or accidents, but soon, whispers of something far more sinister began to spread. Gilles de Rais was seen as a man obsessed with occult rituals, with reports of strange ceremonies happening in his castles. No one could have imagined the true horror that was unfolding behind his walls. It wasn't until 1440 that the truth, or what was believed to be the truth, came to light. Gilles de Rais was investigated by the church for blasphemy, heresy, and the murder of children. The investigation revealed horrific accounts of torture, murder, and ritualistic sacrifice. According to witnesses, many of whom were tortured into confessing, Gilles lured children to his castles where he would engage in unspeakable acts. The reports varied, but all agreed that Gilles de Rais was not only a murderer, but a man who seemed to take great pleasure in his victims' suffering. During his trial, Gilles confessed to the horrific crimes, some say under duress, while others believe it was his way of relieving his tortured conscience. He claimed to have killed over 140 children, though some records suggest the number could have been much higher. But here's where the story takes a twist. Was Gilles de Rais truly a sadistic killer, or was he the victim of a political conspiracy? Many historians have debated whether his trial was a scapegoating effort to seize his wealth. Gilles' immense fortune and landholdings were ripe for the taking, and it's possible that the church, or those with political power, sought to eliminate him for reasons beyond his crimes. In October 1440, Gilles de Rais was found guilty. He was sentenced to death by hanging and burning. His final moments were filled with public drama, as thousands gathered to watch his execution. It is said that he confessed and asked for forgiveness from God, though some sources suggest his final words were ones of defiance. After his death, his body was burned and his lands were divided up. He went from being one of the richest men in France to a mere footnote in history, remembered only for his monstrous actions or for the allegations that clouded his name. The legacy of Gilles de Rais is a dark one. Was he truly the infamous killer as history paints him, or was he the victim of greed and political maneuvering? While his crimes remain one of the most disturbing chapters of medieval history, we'll never truly know the full extent of his actions. Gilles de Rais' story raises chilling questions about power, wealth, and human nature. It's a story of ambition and betrayal, of a man who once fought for a noble cause and later became the face of unspeakable horrors. What do you think? Was Gilles de Rais a sadistic murderer, or was he a victim of history's darkest forces? Let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this deep dive into history, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you won't miss our next journey into the mysteries of the past. History, as we know, is never as simple as it seems. Thank you for joining me, and I'll see you in the next video.